Welcome back. It is 1636. This year I'm kind of scared because it's Margaret's birthday, but last year she did get enough collectibles to get her dowry. Priscilla is in danger of Muriel selling her off. Abraham is able to go to school. And we are going to get married this year. We have to get married this year. We can do this. So Harvard is now open. Obviously, only like religious studies are encouraged. But let's do some rolls. We only have a couple birthdays. So Ezekiel Hobart, becoming a teenager. Wait a second. Ezekiel. Are you? Yes, he is the oldest child of Wymond, finally becoming a teenager. I feel like it's been so long. No 7 or 14. Will he get married? No 1 through 6. Will he have children? No 10. Okay, so he will get married. Again, I'm trying not to put down whether or not, I'm just putting down whether or not they can have children. Okay. So then we have Sella Hobart and Margaret de Mohon. No 3, 9, or 20. Oh my gosh, I can't even. Okay, Sella first. She survives. Margaret. Oh my god, I'm so scared. Margaret. She survived. That was so close. Why was it so close? Okay, and then we have Constance Harry, who needs to get at least a 9. Constance living with her husband, and she did. Okay, we're okay, you guys. We're all okay. I was so nervous. Okay, then we have a couple of adult birthdays this year. Those are not super important to me because I'm 56. Because I don't take a new picture for that. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, you have no idea how relieved I am. All right, let's hop into the game. So here we are on this beautiful fall day, and we are going to start by having Muriel continue her plans to get Priscilla and Elias together in order for, her to basically sell Priscilla to Elias. And so she is going to invite Priscilla to go play games with her, and Priscilla arrives and she's there with Elias. So Priscilla, just kind of politely sits down and joins the game, even though I can't get my Sims to stay in one place. But basically, she comes and she joins the game, and she's like, okay, like, I guess this is fine. Like, she's just there with Muriel and Elias, and they're just doing their thing. So that is going on there. And then time is going on. Like, she can tell Elias is interested in her. She has a lot of guys interested in her, a lot of suitors. Priscilla is like, she's proper, she's very sweet, and she's just like everybody's idea of a perfect wife during this time period. So she does have a lot of people who are vying for her attention. So it doesn't surprise her that Elias is also, trying to kind of be a little flirty with her, but she's not really reciprocal to that or anything. And Muriel is just kind of staying out of the conversation. Like, every time Priscilla tries to engage Muriel instead of Elias, Muriel just kind of directs it back to Elias and, keeps him and her engaged with each other, versus where Priscilla is kind of looking to Muriel for an out here because she feels uncomfortable. Like, she's like, oh, I thought I was just going to come over here and hang out with my sister, and then there's this guy here, and he keeps trying to talk to me, and I don't know what to do, and my sister's not helping me. So Muriel's like, oh, I have to use the restroom, and she disappears. And so Priscilla is left alone. Of course, Abigail comes. I'm like, Abigail, you should come to the rescue if you want to, but I did not intend for you to. But yes, so Muriel leaves, and so Priscilla is like, oh, well, I guess I'll, and Elias is, kind of playing on her manners a bit and kind of being like, oh, you're just going to, like, leave me here by myself? Like, I came over and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, okay, like, we can play one game of chess, I guess. Like, she's very, she lets people steamroll over her. So she's just kind of like, okay. And you can see he's very flirty. He's, like, trying to lay it on. And she's just, like, there because she's polite and well-mannered and because she's not just going to storm off or, call him names and be upset or anything. So she's just trying to get through this, just trying to exist here and wait for him to leave. And then she can go back to her own business. It starts to get a little late. It's, past 6, it's almost 7. And so she's, oh, the sun's going down, blah, blah, blah. Like, trying to kind of be like, okay, I've been entertaining you for hours now, and I do not feel comfortable with this. So finally, he does leave. And then she kind of corners Muriel a little bit, not like in a way that, is aggressive, because she's not the type of person, but she's kind of like, Muriel, like, you were gone for a long time. Like, what happened? I was left alone with him for a while. Like, I thought it was just me and you today. And, asking her all these questions. And Muriel's like, it's fine. It ended up being fine, didn't it? See, he's a nice guy. Like, you should really think about settling down, because soon you're not going to, have any suitors. They're all going to get married off and you're not doing anything, and blah, 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 blah. So basically, Muriel is kind of saying to Priscilla, like, you should consider your options. And Priscilla's like, yeah, but not that old guy. So anyway, next we're going to have Abraham kind of sneak out to see his girlfriend, Aquinna, who apparently all their romance is gone. But so he comes out to see her because they've been meeting under the cover of night for a while. And so he is excited to see her, and she's excited to see him. And so they're both having a good time and everything. And she's like, Abraham, there's something I have to tell you. And he's like, what? And she's like, I'm pregnant. And he's like, what? Right? Because Abraham is not looking to get married and be a father right this second. Like, he wants to, when he ages up, go to college, which is now an option. And he wants to become the future captain of the guards. And he doesn't really see how he would do that with Aquinna as his wife. There's still a lot of, racism and a lot of, like, I don't know what the word is, but like, he wouldn't be able to be the captain of the guard. He would not be able to get that position if he was married to a Native American woman. So he is really struggling here because she's happy. She's like, yes, let's get married. Let's do all the things. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. Like he doesn't want to just outright be like, no, because then he knows that she's going to start telling people. So he's like, okay, yeah. Like, let's talk about this tomorrow. Let's, wow, it's a lot. Like, yes, of course we're getting married. And it kind of blows her off for now, just basically being like, okay, like, you be over there and don't say anything to anybody. And he comes home and he's like so stressed, and he sees Muriel on the swings and he kind of joins her. And, she reminds him so much of his mother for obvious reasons. They're basically the same. And so he knows that, Muriel and Ismay were always on his side because he's the boy and he's the power in the situation. And, like, Muriel knows that if her brother can have a good position, it's good for her. And so he opens up to her and he basically tells her, he's like, look, I got someone pregnant. I don't know what to do. And I feel like it's going to ruin my future. I'm never going to be captain of the guard. I'm never going to get to go to college. I'm never going to get to do anything because I'm going to have to marry her and settle down and start having babies and probably leave our settlement because I don't even know if she's welcome here. And so he's really stressed out about it, like very stressed. And so Muriel's like, it's okay. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, our family is going to be okay. We are going to figure this out. Don't worry. Don't worry about anything. Like, I'm your sister and I will look out for you and you don't have to worry about this. So they have that conversation. And then, of course, it's Margaret's birthday. So yes, Margaret is aging up into a young adult. I don't think that she would be considered mean. I think that Margaret has had her moments, but she isn't a mean person. But yeah, so they all have cake together and they're enjoying their cake and she's feeling good. I think part of her kind of, is excited to get married and get out of the house and start her own, her own family unit, her own life. And she wants that, she wants to start a life that doesn't, have her taking care of all her siblings and doesn't have her, always watching out for Muriel, like ready to stab her in the back and, not in this settlement, like in the middle of it where everyone is always, having drama and problems. And she's like, I got to get out of here. Like she is very much looking forward to just moving on with Bernard and Solomon off to their little cottage in the woods, kind of close enough to like, still live and maintain things, but far enough away that they can only come when they want to. And people aren't just going to be popping by their house or, causing any drama with them. So she is excited about that. I don't know why I can't get her married to him, like in an arranged marriage, but whatever. So we're going to say that this is their wedding. and will pretend that they said their vows and everything in front of the church. And she's really excited. She's very inspired apparently, and she is ready for this next part of her life, and she is ready to move on and kind of get her own life away from everybody else. Like, so much of her life has been related to her siblings, and she just like is not into it. So even though she loves her siblings, she can only take 500 simoleons, and we're heading over to the household. So this was a Dove and Bumpkin house, which I just removed some of the stuff to make it a little more in line with what we have going on here. So we have a garden, we have some beehives, we have a chicken coop, and we have a place for a horse, which we are going to get in just a minute. But and then it's just like your simple cottage on the inside. Margaret has her own room, and then Solomon and Bernard have a room that they share together. And then I have like a bunk room down in the bottom for any future kids and then like a little nursery next to Margaret's room. So that is what's going on there. I'm trying to get them all together, but they do not want to sit down around this table together. But basically, they're all excited because this is what they've been working towards. Solomon has been out here by himself. I'm sure Bernard has been helping a lot, coming over to build the cottage and everything, but they finally, have all their stuff, and they're feeling good, and they're in a place where, the two of them can be romantic with each other and not have to worry about public scrutiny. And also Bernard, technically is married to a woman, and, people aren't going to have a lot of rumors about him or anything. They're not going to let anyone know that Solomon is living here with them. But they are both really excited about the future and what it holds for them. For some reason, their romance went down really a lot. But I wonder if that's probably because of the fact that Bernard and Solomon have not been able to, kind of spend a lot of time together. And Solomon feels like he's out here building this life. And I think that Solomon does have some feelings about the whole situation. Like, he is good friends with Margaret, and he really appreciates what she's doing for them. And, she appreciates what they're doing for her. Like, they all get something out of this arrangement. But at the same time, I think that it kind of hurts Solomon at the same time to see Bernard married to someone else, and also trying to have a baby with someone else, because that is one of the things, is that they need to have a family, and Margaret does want children. She wants a lot of things, so she is they're gonna have to do the woohoo. So I think that Solomon just has a lot of feelings about that. And then we are going to get them a horse. So now they have one, because Solomon and Bernard are both horse lovers. That's kind of what brought them together at the very beginning. So they are, very excited to have their own house and have their own horse. And we're going to have Solomon go out for a ride. Well, Bernard and Margaret, So there they go. Actually, yeah, that's Bernard. Okay. For some reason I get Bernard and Solomon mixed up sometimes, even though they look totally different. But anyway, we're going to feed the horses. We're going to collect the honey. We're just going to do all of our chores. And Margaret is thriving, right? Like, she is loving this, the first few months out on her own property with her own, gardens and her own life. And she, all the things that she learned about taking care of a household, she can put into practice, but like on her own terms. She doesn't have to nag anybody about doing chores. And then unfortunately, Jane did have another child who did not survive, but we're going to get her pregnant again. And then, so Margaret is very excited to kind of have this life laid out in front of her. And she is looking forward to doing all of the things that she always has wanted to do, just living a quiet life, enjoying her quiet life with her friends, no stress, no responsibility. I mean, like, yeah, there are responsibilities because she's going to want to start having kids and stuff, but at the same time, like, it's all on her terms, I guess, is the point. Is like, Ismay really forced her into a role that she was not comfortable with, and she wants the family, she wants the responsibility of running a household, but not because she is a child being parentified, So let's get them woohooing again. See if we can't make a baby, because there's going to be a war next year. So I am kind of concerned about it. If we lose Bernard in the war next year, we're just going to have to see how it goes. Okay, so speaking of the situation we are going to come over here to Aquinna, who is very excited that, her and Abraham are going to get married and blah, blah, blah. And, she thinks all these things are going to happen. And so she gets a, note from Muriel, who kind of calls her out into the woods, and she's like, I need to talk to you like in secret because on Abraham's behalf and whatever. And so Aquinna follows her, or like meets her out there. And so Aquinna is so excited. She's like, yay, we're going to be sisters, like blah, blah, blah. Muriel's like, no, that's not going to happen. And so Muriel takes her into the woods and kills her. She gets rid of her. Oh my gosh. And she does. She's like, you're done. You're not going to ruin my future because of my brother's future, And so Weedamoo actually hears some commotion, and she like runs out to the woods, and she like sees her sister dead on the ground, and she kind of like catches a glimpse of Muriel running away. She sees the bonnet, she sees the outfit. She knows that person who did this is from, the colonies, the settlements, whatever it is. They don't know exactly. I know that people were saying that this tribe might not be involved in the war, but I'm starting a war here, so this is what we're going to do. And so she tells her father what she saw, and that, obviously they don't understand why this has happened. They don't know what's going on. And apparently Mary Stroud just died. But like they really don't know what's going on. So they need to find out. So they are struggling with that. They're obviously very, very sad to lose Aquinna. Like, she was so full of life. She was so excited. She was like so vibrant and lovely. And so her father there is going to go and come to our settlement and demand answers. He's going to be like, Humphrey, we got to talk because something is going on here and I don't know what it is. So he comes and he talks to Humphrey and he's like, what happened? Like, my daughter was murdered by someone in your settlement. And Humphrey is like, no way. There's no way that happened. And Humphrey is just like totally, dismissing him, being like, how would you know? Like, why would anyone do that? And they get in this big fight about it. And it comes to blows. And what is his name again? Anawan. Anawan is like, look, if you're not going to take responsibility, if you're not going to give me someone's head for my daughter, no eye for an eye, we're going to start a war. We're going to go to war. This is it. And Humphrey's like, yeah, we are. Like, I'm not going to scapegoat any of my people because of some lie you told. Like, he just does not believe it because he thinks he has a control and a grasp on his people. So we're going to war because Muriel killed Aquinna because she was pregnant with Abraham's baby. And Abraham has a bright future ahead of him. And Muriel knows that, like, the man of her house is, like, the most important person in her house to her future as well. And it's not like she can just... Muriel's already not getting married. Like, Muriel is not well liked. She is not, she doesn't have suitors or anything. So she is really riding on Abraham's coattails. So she needs that from him. So anyway, I also forgot what our last name was going to be. No, we're Dubois now. It is now Margaret Dubois. So there she is. Very exciting. Our color is now pink. We are changing colors. Very, very happy about Margaret's future, provided that, Bernard does not die in the war next year. Who knows, right? But we'll see. But Margaret is doing pretty well. And actually, when we'll see right now, Margaret is pregnant. She's pregnant. So one of our woohoos worked. We only woohooed twice. Good for you, Margaret. You are very fertile. So they are really excited that she's going to have a baby. The three of them are planning on raising all the kids together and everything. So they're just excited. They're ready to be starting their own family, which I'm super stoked about, is that we're going to have a baby next year. So I'm looking forward to that, provided that the war goes well. We'll see what happens. But I hope you guys are excited, and I will catch you in the next one.